everyone. Welcome to this week's topic where we'll be covering boundaries. And let's get started.
You mean like the ones in IPL?
Oh, of course.
I mean, as we were recording this, I'm missing an IPL game. And I'm very, very disappointed that I'm not able to watch it. So forget those boundaries for now.
Totally tragic.
Yeah, it's kind of tragic, but I'll have to spend time with you guys now and talk about boundaries, which is kind of sad. So let's talk about boundaries, the non-IPL ones, the non-cricketing boundaries. So the ones that actually matter in life. So guys, so what's a boundary you've set? Deepak?
So one boundary that I have for all of my roommates over the past 10 years is if the sun isn't up, neither is Deepak.
Is it on a shirt? Like, is
it
it on a
be
shirt?
On a shirt.
It should
I'm going
be
to
on
get
a
one
shirt.
printed and I'm going to wear that for the next week's.
No, everyone around you should wear it, not you.
Yeah.
I feel like, because you're already sleeping. Like, there's no point in you wearing it while you're in bed. That's good. It's good.
Yeah. So that's the rule that I have. It's a hard rule. If someone knocks, I don't open the door. I mean, I genuinely, when I'm asleep, I don't pay attention to loud noises.
So how does it work when you're a functioning adult with responsibilities that you have to complete in the morning?
I do get up relatively early in the morning, but not before the sun gets up.
Before the sun. It depends on where you are. What if you're in Alaska? Sun never gets up. What happens to Deepak? Is he in a coma?
Don't go to Alaska.
Like, is he in a coma?
Yeah, I would become Kumbhakarna there, right?
You would just not be.
This is why I don't go to Alaska.
Makes sense.
Hard to live with my principles there.
Yeah, you got to break rules. Breaking rules.
What about you, Akshay?
Mine's actually kind of simple, something that a lot of people have, which is so if you're texting me, like I do respond. I sometimes respond like say like an hour late or like an hour or two late, and I want you to be okay with it because it's a text. You're not calling me. It's just a text. So like if I'm doing some other work, I want to do that work. I want to finish that work and then text you so that like, when I do text you, I can actually have a conversation with you and if at that time you're not free, then we'll figure it out at a time. We'll figure it out, and that's the way I look at the world. And that has angered some of my friends when they wanted immediate texts. Whereas I said, like I do try to do that, but then if I'm doing something else, like I do something else.
I think you're being too fair and reasonable about this, dude. For me, it's like I reply in 5 minutes or 5 years. There's nothing in between.
I think that's the extent of the relationship value he holds. Like the time.
There's genuinely one time when I replied to a 2017 voice note from someone in 2020 because I realized I'd never listened to it. Then when I opened it, it turned out to be something about their apartment building literally collapsing. I mean, not that it happened then. They were telling a story. But I was like, damn, I missed this.
Oh my God. 3 years after it, are you guys alive? And then there's no response forever. Oh my God, that's brutal.
I'm glad like I'm your roommate, so I can just come to your room and like have these conversations.
Oh my God.
I think if our building is falling, there isn't going to be a room for us to be sitting and talking.
Oh man. Yeah,
I mean, luckily everyone was evacuated and everything in that story. So I mean, my friend.
So you called that person after listening to the voice note? What do you do? It was the first thing you did. You went back to sleep
we had a good
because the sun wasn't up. Okay.
We had become much closer friends in those 3 years.
Wait, by not talking about it? By not talking at all? Like.
No, we talked. It was just not that one message that I had.
Oh, that's the one message you missed. Okay. So in my head, I'm thinking the voice note is the last message you sent. And then you replied 3 years later.
Yeah,
Inside.
like, dude, he crossed the boundary. Like, he didn't have apartment to be friends with me.
Yeah, I'm like, huh. I mean, they say bonds grow closer when you're apart, right? I'm like, maybe it's kind of like that. Like when you take some time off, like
That
3 years, you
it's been
guys
a
don't
matter of
speak to
months.
each
I
other.
don't think I've ever waited years. Like if I wait years, then I'm probably not going to respond to you.
Oh, okay.
What
Yeah,
about you,
that's
Vyaas?
that's interesting.
Yeah, what's your
Yeah.
boundary?
Before I talk about boundaries, there was this. So when it comes to responding, right? So the way criminal organizations or high-profile terror networks, how they track them is like when it comes to how they respond, right? Because let's say there's 20 people that security intelligence agencies trying to find out and trying to find out who's the big shot, who's the boss. So what they looked at was the time they took to respond to the email to a particular person. So when it comes to, let's say the person responds to person 23, right? So some guy who the FBI or Indian intelligence thinks is just a guy who's just there. He's not doing anything, like he's a sleeper cell. He doesn't have any control over the organization. So, but let's say someone who's at the top of the chain responds to the guy 23 quickly, like within seconds or minutes of that message. Then based on the response times, they realized, okay, there is a hierarchy when it comes to if you rank the response times, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it's pretty perceptive.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And
Right.
that's how like relationships in our life are too. Like that is from the way we respond to things. Like because even the terrorists or the people, criminals, they are humans too. It's just a human trait. Like the people you value, you respond faster. And
Right.
just
That's
makes
true.
it makes sense as a social animal. So when it comes to the boundary,
might also be people who have power over you. You can't ignore your boss for 6 months and still expect to retain your job, but they might not necessarily be your most favorite person in the world.
Yeah, so I'm not talking about power, right? So I'm just talking about the social animal. So that's why I said social animal, right? It could be relationship or power setting or anything. It really highly depends. So when it comes to the question for today's week, a boundary I've set is, so I'll be talking about a boundary I've set on myself. So just I guess even from childhood, I just don't get angry often a lot. It's because sometimes I just forget what happened in that fight. Like I don't remember the details or the emotions behind it. So, and that's a blessing when it comes to in that regard. So, and I've tried to be more aware of the fact that why do you have a grudge with that person, and is it really worth having that? So sometimes I play the role of the peacemaker when it comes to the family settings or things that are within between friends. So it's kind of nice in that way, right? Where you're able to help those two best friends or two people who just are facing that troubling moment in that time. So that means that I have to stay calm in that moment and not take sides. So that comes from setting a boundary on yourself and saying it's important to be objective in such situations, and it just takes time to develop that attitude. So that's the wrong boundary.
What Vyaas says here is actually the basis of human civilization itself. All human cooperation only becomes possible when you set this boundary on yourself at some level. And human beings have evolved the way they have from the lemur-like primitive primates because they developed the ability to cooperate with each other. And our society has advanced even in the past 10,000 years since the advent of agriculture, because we've learned new ways of cooperating and organizing. And all of that only becomes possible because somebody at some point had the instinct that Vyaas just talked about.
Yeah.
So and Vyaas in that way is the great cooperator, like Bill Clinton called himself. The one who brings people together and gets things done. The united.
That's good. Good. Bill Clinton plug. Yeah, that's big words, kind words from a big man. like Deepak. So Akshay, so what do we have in store for next for tomorrow?
So we talked a lot about boundaries. So like let's actually like, define them tomorrow. Let's actually talk about that a bit more.
All right.
Okay, see you then.
See you guys.
Oh, you're still here? Well, thanks for getting to the end of the video. Hey, while you're still here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get new updates when we post videos. Also, make sure to check out these equally exciting videos as well. Have you pressed it yet? Come on, you have 5 seconds left. 3, 2, press it now.